she contacted us and said, do you know of anybody else in the world that's outside of South Africa? They need to come home. And we were like, why, Inga? Like, it sounds a bit rash. And she was like, no. I have good authority to say you need to get these people home by a certain time and date. And it was exactly 2 days. We had 48 hours.
You got to understand that I was in the Serengeti for a month. So by the time I left for the Serengeti, COVID, like there was talks of it, but we had no idea what it was. And, there were talks about shutting the borders, and it's obscene almost, because you kind of think, well, that's impossible. They can't close the borders. And even the other guests in camp said, they're not going back because there's no ways they can stop them from going back home.
So we sat down in the office that day and we said, this is the plan. You're going to fly tomorrow afternoon. We would like you to be at a certain place at a certain time to get onto a plane, and we were trying to organize the flights. And that next morning we got in and all of those flights had been cancelled already. And at that point we knew we were in a serious situation. Thank goodness we'd called it, but we knew that if we didn't get them out, we weren't going to get them out.
So I was in the Eastern Serengeti. We were actually sitting with a pod of lions. We just had our packed lunch, and I had the satellite phone with me, which was off for obvious reasons, only using it to call the office. And then Laura managed to get hold of one of the guests luckily she had roaming, and said that we've got about an hour and a half to get to Serenera airstrip, which on a good day is probably about closer to 2 hours drive.
So he said, all right, let me say back the plan to you. He said, yes, Laura, yes. Okay, let me tell you the plan back. He told me the plan back. The conversation lasted all about a minute and a half. And then Judy and I started waiting, because we knew that he had to get on that plane with his guests to get to an international airport to fly home.
So needless to say, we packed everything up, raced down that side, raced past some amazing sightings, unfortunately. And luckily just got onto the plane just in time, and then onto Kili Airport, which from there we had to try and arrange flights for all of the guests to get out.
We were in touch with Inga to make sure that all of our guests, not just Johan, because we had to get Johan home, we still had to get our guests home, that there was availability on their flights. They could go to check in at the airport and go and say, I need to get on this flight. This is my plane ticket. Put me on your plane.
No, I think our guests were pretty calm, actually. I think there was a bit of panic that set in when the flights were overbooked, and we just saw the chaos in Kili Airport. But, again, having the logistics team, Laura and Judy, they were actually at Laura's house sorting everything out. We got dinner for the guests. I said to them, don't worry about it. Our logistics team have it under control. I touched base with them like once an hour.
I got that message from him to say, Laura, I've landed in Joburg. And that is when I cried. But it was relief, because our plan of plan A worked. And if it hadn't have worked, plan B was a very different plan.
I probably would have still been in the Serengeti somewhere. No, it's a scary thing, because, like I said, the amount of phone calls it takes to change flights. It's always, okay, please hold on for so-and-so. And you get into someone else, and then often signal is a difficult thing that might cut out. So, having to make one phone call to Laura or Judy and let them sort it out was a massive help. There was no ways we would have gotten out that day, and probably not within that week, and probably not in time before they shut the borders in both South Africa and the majority of the world.